So my name is Bryan. Most people call me BT, but Bryan is kind of my name that I primarily go by. Some people call me B, but mainly B or Bryan. But um, background and kind of the leading of what got me here is you sometimes got to be out there to come back. We all are, we hear the phrase where, um, a lot of people are lost sheep. So and this is gonna be a loaded discussion because I had to kind of unpack this with someone in a very deep detail. So I'm gonna try to be real, but if it's too real, I'll scale it back when necessary. Um, Over 10 years ago, I was in a I was gonna do what I would consider like I call this serial dating. I'm not gonna even lie. It's basically I would date someone, we would get to know each other for a little bit, wouldn't work out. Instead of me taking time to like grieve or process the relationship ending, meet another person and just watch, rinse, and repeat. And before this, is key I want to point out, I was really in church. Like I was going to church every Sunday. I was on the youth usher board. I was you know, I did all that, did every bit of it church wise. And I kind of was like, it's not my thing. I want to do my own thing. So going back to the serial dating, this was in 2013. I dated four people, like four separate occasions. Like I dated somebody, lasted for a few months, we break up, met somebody else, we dated for a couple months, didn't last, broke up, met a third person, didn't last, we broke up like within a couple months. And the fourth person was what a wake up call happened. So we got into we were like me and this person were talking to each other. And this didn't even last. I think the relationship didn't even last. Like I think it was the shortest one out of three. But long story short, I ended up getting into some legal trouble, and I ended up getting a pretty hefty sentence. To not go into extreme details, it just involved me causing bodily harm. And one thing about God, and one thing about life is if you don't sit down, life will sit you down. And I got sat down nice and calm and said, okay, you sit here and you relax. And I was like, I ain't got no more time, so let me sit here and relax. So that was in 2014 when that all like went down as far as the sentence and everything. I was in there for 3 months, and when I came out, my goal and my push was I want to get back in IT. I want to get back into tech, and kept saying I want to get back into tech. I want to do tech. I want to do tech, but I won't put in any work to really do tech. I was doing jobs, but not doing jobs that were gonna bring back in the space to be in IT. Until I got to where I work now. I work for an insurance company, a well-known insurance company, Fortune 500 here in Richmond. And let's just say I still didn't get it. I still didn't see it. I still didn't understand it. And why I say that is because I was in it. I was in my field. I got into IT. I'm back, getting some good income, but I still wasn't believing. I still wasn't putting faith where it mattered most. Um, I get a job in IT back in September of 2021. I was temp. December that year, my sister passes. It hits me. I'm going through the emotions, going through the feels. Still not still not seeing it. It took last year for it to hit home. But I lost my dad, and my dad was 89. He passed in August of last year. Actually, it was July. It was the last day of July because I remember going into the office, and when I left from work, came home, and at the time I was with my parents, so it was like my mom had like a suit set out, and it was like, yeah, he just passed. Now, a few months before that, or a little bit of time before that, I was getting ready to start connecting with like a men's group to where we do men's ministry and it's like well, it started off as like co-ed, and I was attending a few service sessions here and there, but I wasn't fully engaged into it. And I think that point was where it was like, all right, we've been doing it on our own, and it's time to make some changes. And so I got connected with the group, um, went out and got a Bible, went out and like really kind of transform my content, transform my discussion. And now and I'm not even sitting here saying like I don't like am I and I'll be transparent. Are there times that I still go out and drink and hang out? Sure. But I'm not a lush. I'm not out there like, oh, I'm about to get drunk and I'm do no. I those days are long gone. Um and I'm just more I've I've learned to be more obedient. Um and why the obedience plays a part is it's things that you don't understand in a moment, but you understand it over time. My dad wore glasses. Before when I was working where we worked at, I didn't wear glasses. I started wearing glasses a couple months ago. Biggest adjustment in the world. Some people was like, "Oh, I mean, I've been wearing this since I was a kid." I was like, "Yeah, if you've been doing it as a kid, it's second nature." But when you're someone who never needed glasses, it's like, what? But I don't. It's like, hey, I need to see stuff. Like I could take these off right now. I could probably see the screen, but everything will look blurry. I found I was nearsighted, had astigmatism, everything. Um, but then the funny part is, and it's not this pair, but one of the pairs that I bought, the first day I put those on, I saw everything too. I started to see people like doors open and things started to make sense. People were in my life that needed to go. Some people made their path to leave. Um, even got a promotion at my job. That was like a huge blessing. Didn't would have never expected it, but I was very grateful, very appreciative of it. And the kicker is, as of now, at least, where things are, it's been about a little over 2 weeks. And I just met someone who getting to know, kind of got like a good connection. But the even crazier part about that is in this 2 weeks, I took a decision and like no one online knows it because I didn't make an announcement, but I decided like, hey, today is the day I'm cutting off social media. Like I have the app, so I look at them, sure, but I'm not posting anything. I'm not announcing anything. I'm just kind of it's like a mixture of lurking, but also like not getting too entangled because people just don't get it. Um, and why I bring up the potential of a relationship with like dating is like this person, and this is why it is when you ask that question and when you bring this all to the forefront. I've talked to a lot of people about what I did and what went on, but she was one of the first people that I've like really broke down a lot of it. And it's it probably was one of the hardest band-aids that I've ever ripped off. But I'm also like, bro, you're 43, be real, just talk about it. And when I first shared it, I was like, I'm not sure how she gonna take it. I'm not sure. It was so many, I wasn't sure, dot, 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 the old nine. Her and I talked today. We're still in a good space, friendship wise. She's and like the term that I was using was that I was a safe space. She was like, I still see you as a safe space, but you're not as safe. And I said, I respect that, but I at least am still in good grace with her. But I think like I said, I think it helped her having a conversation with one of her good friends to kind of give her a rundown and saying like, it's been 10 years. It's not like, you know, I can, I've, I've asked for forgiveness. I've paid my time for it. And I think it's helped her to kind of get some understanding on it. And a person has a right to have that guard. And I think my two things, and this was something I also share with her too, is just like, look, I'm hard working on like love and peace, just having love in my heart and having just being peaceful and being like in a calm state. Cause at that particular time when all of that went on, I had no love, I had no peace, there wasn't even I don't even yeah, I don't even think we had a Bible in that place we were living in. And I was like, yeah, there were a lot of things that were missing when you look back at it now. But in the moment, you're like, well, I'm with somebody. I'm happy we're, doing what we do and keeping it pushing. But a lot of things changed and a lot of things like brought a lot of stuff to light. So we as people know signs exist, like just regular street signs. We see them all around. It's like stop. Like if you're driving on the highway, it's a reason to use green signs, to use yellow signs, to use whatever sign to like get your attention. If you drive on the highway, you put white signs that say speed limits because that's how people know when to go faster, go slower. The incident happened November of 2020. I'm sorry, 2013. And I'm giving this story and it'll kind of tie into what you're asking. In November of 2020, so in November of 2013, this happened. November of 2023, I went to, believe it or not, I was in Austin. I went to a it was a big tech conference, Afrotech, and our group that went, one of the girls who was part of our group, like most of the folks who were in our group, everybody was black. We had a few who were mixed. We had one girl that was white, and she wasn't from America. She was like from another country. While we were on the trip, it was like the second to last day, or like we were nearing the end before we got ready to come back to Richmond or take our flights back home or wherever we were working. And in the process, he, we're playing spades, unwritten rules when it comes to spades. You don't talk while spades is going on. Now she wasn't playing, and I'm not a big spades player, but I know generic logic. So while we were talking, she wanted to ask questions and like inquire about stuff. I She made a comment and I didn't think when I said it, I was like, shut the F up. Just told her to be quiet. But she took it and she was upset. And a lot of people who were there were upset. So much so to the point where it almost lost me my job. But why I'm saying that or why I'm referencing that is we sometimes don't realize that God is sending us messages in other forms or other facets. And I'm also sharing this because, and I'm looking at his letter now. So like I have a best friend who I was trying to give him give him the goods. I was saying, bro, you can't, you gotta, you gotta treat women with respect. You gotta be a good guy. If you don't, if anything happened, whether you with that person or not, how they gonna handle this? How they gonna handle it? And he heard me. He understood what I was saying, but he didn't realize the magnitude of it until he got in the situation he was in. And I didn't find out about it until after I was taking a flight back from Austin, and one of his friends, like we're now like the girl and I, we're friends now, but one of his friends like reached out to me and told me everything that happened because he'd been offline for like months. I was like, why this dude ain't been online? He'd been locked up. He was in a domestic situation with his girl, with his ex, and almost like it could have went really bad. But it was bad in the sense that it's like going back to your question, like times when you see like something can be different, that could have been me. Like I didn't get no astronomical sentence. I did some, I did therapy on my own outside of it, but I didn't have any probation. I didn't have any like crazy specific things that I needed to experience or run into with it. But he only get 18. I mean, he got a pretty hefty amount of time for what happened, like 18 years. And that was like, it's a lot for me even now talking about it as I'm sharing it because it's like, not even just that it could have been me. It's just more so like, bro, this ain't it. This ain't the thing. So I would say, and it's a phrase that I use, and I said this a couple years ago, and I had a friend of mine who I think we've been intended to be friends for as long as we were for a reason. I put up a post a while back talking about being an escapist. I was a professional escapist. If it was anything that required my attention or I really need to take care of, I was determined I was not going to do it. I'm going to escape from it. I'm not going to worry about it. As far as I'm concerned, it don't exist. And a friend of mine was like, "You got to stop escaping stuff because the more you escape things, the more your problems are going to be there one way or the other." And sometimes the escaping were the other things that I mentioned, like the drinking, the going out partying, the staying out late. And I'm not one of those people. I really don't do a whole lot if I don't have to, but I really thought not necessarily that I was untouchable, but that I could do things and think it wasn't no big deal. But a lot of times, like, and even I'm sharing this now with like a friend of mine, with his child, is saying that like, yo, you know, ain't nobody catch you, but when you caught, you caught. You gotta accept what comes with it. So I think as far as from the relationship standpoint, the other things that was like outlets or ways that I was kind of just getting away was just any opportunity of escapism that I could take. So if it was, oh, I'm gonna go to this bar and I'm gonna drink for like a couple hours, and I'm like, you know what, I don't feel like going home. I'm gonna go to another bar. I got the money. I ain't worrying about it. But then it was like I was losing in two aspects. I was losing money and I was losing like I was losing money in the sense of paying for going out and drinking. And I was losing it mentally because drinks catch up to you really fast. Like there's stuff that I am doing now and I think it's changed. Like, I mean, you can't really see it per se because I mean I'm pretty big guy, but like losing like 8 pounds or losing weight and it's not stress, it's like you just taking care of your body and just doing something small as stretching out or jumping rope or just moving makes such a big impact because I was like a big like I think when we knew each other when I was working the next day, I was at one point playing ball almost on a regular. If I get on the basketball court now, I'm like, I'm this I got about a couple games in me and I'm done. But now I think I could try and give it a little bit of a go, but it's the matter of doing things to stay active. And I think the biggest actives were getting a word, writing. Can't forget that. I really can't forget. Writing was like if I wasn't writing, like I think I have more outlets now than ever before because like whether it's creating with the podcast, whether it's doing any type of graphic or web design work, I've been running a newsletter. I've been running a newsletter for over 20 years. Like I've like news. I was doing newsletters before newsletters got hot. Like newsletters now are kind of like, oh, you wrote a newsletter, cool. Me, I write newsletters because I just like to write. Because a lot of times what people don't understand is like something happened to me tomorrow. If nothing else, I got those newsletters out there. It's like, hey, we can go back and read his story. Because the story, like, I'm gonna share two things with this, and I don't want to go too in depth. But one, when we're experiencing stuff, or we write things, or we have stuff that we're sharing, we share it for ourselves, of course, but we're sharing it because somebody else needs to hear what we're sharing to get through whatever it is they got going on. Like sometimes they don't know what's going on because life coming at them 100 miles an hour, and we've all done it. And these are things that I learned with going to the men's ministry. So that's part one. Part two, and probably the biggest weight that I really share is everybody gets a cup. Everybody gets a cup. They get a cup of water. You get a cup that just an empty cup. Now, what happens is we sometimes will spend more time trying to pour from this empty cup because we're giving our time and giving ourselves to everybody else. So even if you, let's say, and I got it Stanley. So if I had, let's say this Stanley was like full of water, but instead of me drinking it, I'm giving water to everybody else. Then once I'm giving it all away, what I got left? So now I'm sitting here like, well, what do I have for myself? So I've been forced to learn first thing, and even down to me doing it routinely during the day. I get up and I pour into myself. Let me get myself some water because I'm thirsty. Because then that way I'm ready to absorb or take on whatever other people bring my direction. And that's been probably one of my biggest things that's helped really with this journey, with this process, is just pouring into yourself and taking time, like giving yourself grace and being patient and being kind to yourself. Yeah, almost definitely. Discipline has been I mean, I talked about it earlier with the detox, with the digital detox. Like discipline is, um, I don't think people realize discipline isn't just a buzzword. It's actually like inadvertently a lifestyle. Like I call me crazy, the whole morning routine. I'm not a morning person. Nobody. And again, I know I said with emphasis, but no one cares. No one cares if you're a morning person or not. But like, if you want to get stuff done, you got to find that point of the day when you can do it. Like I found that I used to get up at like 6 in the morning, and I used to do what was called like ramp, which was read the Bible, read affirmations, meditate, and pray. I haven't done meditation like that in a while, but then other stuff came in the mix. It's like, all right, let's get up at 5, go walk. So every morning I get up when I'm able to. I get up and do 20-minute walk. I do a 1 minute jump rope session, and then I do my stretching. Saturdays I'm reckless. I get up at 5. I'm usually at the track by 5:30. I'm outside and I'm doing a walk for like, usually it started off like 3 miles. I've gone up to 4 miles. Right now I'm at 5 miles. Now my 5 mile walk might take a minute, but I'm out there. I'm like, I got to do it because it helps to kind of boosts. It's a positive dopamine. It's a very helpful dopamine. And that helps with the discipline. So like those things, doing that helps so much. And then even worse, I'll do that 5 mile walk. And then when I'm done, I'll go. So like I said, at school, I'll go near the school and I'll stretch because I'm like, I'm already here. Ain't no point in me going home just to go stretch. I'm like, I'm right here. Let's get it done. And it's made such an impact. Like looking back and even experience what I experienced in, if I had those type of things to do first thing in the morning, instead of trying to get busy and get down to business or be in such a rush, like, oh, I gotta hurry and get out of the house. I'm like, no, just get up, get the body moving, know, get get your body situated, whether you got a shower, you need to just get some, do a quick 1, 2, and then get on your way. But those things help and they play a part tremendously. The last fruit that's talked about is the one that probably was the hardest hit, which is self-control. Self-control is self-control would almost be us doing a part two. Only because self-control has been challenging, like even with the young, with the lady who I just met, we're both connecting. We got a good vibe, but we're also like, we can't do nothing because we gotta. And I'm like, I'm with you. I'm not on that because I can't fold or fumble on what's what. And the thing that's so ironic, even in thinking about what I experienced back then, there was no self control because in reality, the simplest thing that I had to do that day was just not go. Either I could have just now went home, I could have came home and just hung out for a quick second and then left. And if I wanted to come back the next day, I could. And if I need to get my stuff and leave, and what, and as strange as it is to say it, self control equates to red flags, right? Like it's a strange way to say it. I'm a slow walker. I know it's an odd way to think about it, but just hear me out. If we don't manage self control and making decisions or because that is a term I used to use called executive decision. Making good executive decisions are green flags. Making bad executive decisions are red flags, and it's either you ignore the red flag or you acknowledge it and say, "Let me get out of this because this could go left." Like this decision was made by me a couple months ago. It was someone who I was really close to. We were friends. We tried to talk, and I stalled things, and I was like, "It's not gonna work," and they got upset and I got out at the right time. The day that I picked up my glasses was the same day she tagged me in a post saying that I was the devil. And I was like, I'm not the devil. I just told you we wouldn't work out. But you didn't want to hear the truth. And you also thought that I was trying to like the thing that's so bad. And I don't like using this term because I'm not a fan of it. She didn't, and I'll say it in a more PG way. There wasn't enough that she was providing. And I ain't sitting here saying it wasn't even on an intimate level. It's just on a substance and a spiritual level. She had very low substance in discussion, and I'm not talking about the person I'm talking to now. Like polar opposite. Like the person I'm talking to now, we can get on a call. Like I said, we'll get on a call for like 40, 50 minutes, not even thinking about it because we just can enjoy each other's conversation. But you don't get that with everybody. So yeah, self control is that is like discipline is one, but I would say self control is like 1A, and it's like 1A with a period, like very very close. Writing was an outlet. Like right now, I could not. I I don't even I don't even know why, but I have them. Like I have a bunch of notebooks just around the house. Like this isn't even filled. This is just a plain notebook, but I have like a lot of notebooks that I either have bought or I use, and they just are ready to go. First, I didn't. I'll be honest. A lot of times it was like a write and go. I was like, all right, I wrote it. I got it out of my system. I'm good. A couple months ago, I got introduced to, and I haven't been doing the best of it. There's a thing that is called morning pages that everyone's been talking about. Most people know it from Dochi, a well-known musical artist. She kind of got it going where everybody was like, oh, people should do morning pages, or it's from the artist way. Um, where's my book? This is the actual. It's gonna blur itself. Hold on. I love how technology don't work in your favor. So this is the book. This is the journal version of it, but it's by Julia Cameron. And so um, I say that to say, um, I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to be full time, but I say that to share it as so it helped me to learn like each day to just open up the journal and just start writing. And sometimes I do go back and read stuff. Sometimes I don't. But I will say like it's fun and it's good to have that opportunity in that space to just be. And I do like writing there. Like I have gotten accustomed to writing. So I was when you mentioned it, so I have these are two of my children. This is my commonplace notebook that I always will write in, and this is an actual journal that I keep. And then I have a bullet journal because I do planning. So like I'm still analog all the way.
You said you have a bullet journal because you do what?
Planning. That's how I plan.
Planning.
So,
Okay, gotcha.
so bullet journaling is it was started, and I this is probably my this has probably been my favorite wheelhouse to be in because a lot of people when they hear it, they think what's bullet journal? It's kind of crazy, but bullet journaling is a it's a way to be intentional with planning because for guys we don't have there's not like pretty cute planners for guys. Guys have to find these ugly, hard, at a glance, day in the life, week of the life. The planners aren't targeted for us very well, and that's fine. So when I've looked at different planners, I'm like, these don't, it ain't cutting it. So 2018, 2019, not long after I left where we worked, um, I started learning I wanted to learn bullet journaling. So I bought a book, learned a little bit of it, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy like an actual bullet journal and start learning it. And the day I learned it, the first day I got like I bought the book because he wrote a book. Ryder Carroll wrote the book, so it was created by a guy, and he created it for ADHD, but he also created it because it's like for most people when they look at a calendar, they go through like their whole day and they're writing everything down what they did. And what I do is, okay, today is the 24th. I did this, I did this, I did this, this came in the mail. Oh, this came in the mail. Oh, I ordered this. Oh, I had a call about this. And I just write rapid notes of what I've done. And then when I'm finished for the day, then I do like a reflection, like a well, not morning pages, but it's like, I call it micro journaling, where it's like a one line title or kind of like a head. You know how you look at newspapers, you read a headline. It's a headline, but it's a headline of my day.